Welcome to the Enigma Daily, Thursday edition. And as we do around here on Thursdays, we talk about ancient civilizations and lost mysteries and current events. And we actually got a pretty good one today. So let's get right into it. My name is Joseph. Thank you for turning in. And something amazing just came forth earlier this week. So fresh that it's still making its way through the news articles. But basically, it's talking about that new translations from Sumerian tablets that are dating back about 5,000 years ago are reporting an extra planet in our solar system. So here is a current article right here where you can go look at it, right? Sumerian tablets decipher understanding of the oldest known written language. And it goes down here to talk about the solar system that we live in. And it details it in extreme detail. Very accurate. Very, very accurate. This article will be in the link in the video. A link in the description of the video. You can go check it out. It's worth the read if you're a nerd like myself. But let's get into it, what it actually talks about, and what it possibly could mean. If you're not familiar with the Sumerians, they're basically Babylonians today. They are Baghdad down in Iraq. That's where the Sumerian language took place. The Sumerian tablets are called cuneiform. They're written in a style called cuneiform, not hieroglyphics. And you can take a look at the cuneiform right here. This is cuneiform. It's the oldest written language that we have on the earth, supposedly. Now, what these cuneiform tablets describe is, in this specific incident that we're talking about right now, is that it goes into great detail mapping out our planets. And keep in mind, this was a solid millennia before telescopes were even invented. These people were mapping out the stars, mapping out the celestial movements that were going through it. And that leads two questions, actually. Number one, how did they do that? Did they have technology that we weren't aware? Because some of these planets aren't even visible to the naked eye, and they were, mapping them out. Or did somebody give this information to them and they just wrote down what they saw them provide? I don't want to get too woo-hooey, but maybe a star map or something like that. But at a minimum, we need to stop thinking that our ancestors were primitive people living in mud huts. We need to stop that. A lot of people don't realize this, but the Romans actually had running water. They had indoor toilets. They had, they had surgery. They were very, very, very advanced, right? Now, the descriptions go on. Let's get back to the descriptions on this Sumerian tablets. The inscriptions describe gods descending from the heavens, traveling between the worlds, and mapping the solar system with astonishing accuracy along the way. And what they do is they talk about 12 orbiting bodies, right? 12. And one of those bodies was what they called Nibiru, planet X, number 10. But it also talks about two more that were in there. I thought that was very strange. I'm still waiting for these accurate translations to come through, to get through. Some people they're currently fighting over some of the exact wording in there. I'll give you the exact wording they're talking about here, but I actually am leaning towards the other route, that these people are describing exactly what they're saying. I'll get to that in a second. I think we used to have 9 before they kicked Pluto out, which I think is a hot mess. They should definitely bring Pluto back in. Nibiru was 10, but this is talking about 2 more after that, 11 and 12. And the researchers also noted similarities between these carvings and, our modern day model of our solar system. Now, here's where it gets complicated. Of course, mainstream archaeologists are the kings of propaganda because they don't want to lose their tenure or their bodies of work. They don't want to learn anything new. But they argue that the interpretation stretch from translations and symbolisms, and they go beyond the original context. For example, they're saying these planets after the 9 or the 8 or whatever they're talking about that we currently recognize are spirit realms, is what they're talking about. Cosmic realms, extra dimensional realms. But you have a large amount of people that are saying that no, they're actually speaking about bodies in the sky, Earth, objects in the sky. But here's a little something else I want to add to you. I've had people on my show that have talked about, and also I've had several other people talk about, that all the stars that you see in the sky are actually angels. The planets are actually angels in one form or another. And then when it talks about angels leaving their heavenly host and reincarnating on earth, that's what they're doing. They're taking on this physical form that we have. But one of their forms they have in their celestial bodies is the planets, the stars, right? So they could both be saying the same thing, but just using different words to talk about it. Another thing I thought was very interesting about this is that it ties in with what this guy named Zecharia Sitchin wrote a long time ago, saying that the Sumerians actually preserved the knowledge that was handed down to them by the Anunnaki. If you're not familiar with the Anunnaki story, that's who inhabited Planet X. They came to Earth. They were giants, 10, 15 tall. They took the current animals that were down here and they made us. This guy, our creator to them, is Enki. He has a brother named Enlil. Enlil is the steward of this planet. And Enki and Enlil get into a fight because Enlil tells Enki he made us too strong and one day we could overcome them. That's in the Sumerian tablets, right? And a big, pyramid war broke out. And then later led this giant flood that went down as well, right? So that all ties into the Zecharia Sitchin story. And that's very firmly entrenched in the Sumerian mythos, or their, creation mythology that they look from, that we were created from, that was what was down here. But you take all that aside. That's all, the book of Enoch, the book of Genesis, everybody's religion, everybody's creation stories. Take all that away. But what you can't take away is that they describe things that we can currently see right now in the sky with modern day telescopes. And they didn't have telescopes. They didn't have it, supposedly, right? Now, that right there, I think is kind of cool. And it leads to the mystery of the earth that we live on. I say that all the time. We live on a magnificent earth. And if you think we live on a boring, mundane existence, you're not doing it right. You should subscribe to my channels and get schooled up in this stuff. So, great stuff. Great, amazing that was going on with it. And it is pretty fascinating that these people 5,000, 7,000 years ago were writing this stuff down. Probably even longer than that, actually. And as this comes out, we'll probably revisit this next Thursday when we get some more fine tuning coming in. This is hot off the press. Check it out. Take a look at it. And if this is your first time finding this channel, we are the Enigma Daily. This is my morning show. We're the sister channel of the Ancient Enigma Files. That's where we do our long form content, our interview styles, and we bring people on and we do our long form discussions. So if you're interested in that, go back to the landing page, go on over there. You'll see the Ancient Enigma Files right there. Give it a click, go over there, give us a follow, and enjoy. However, we are trying to grow this channel. If you could give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps the algorithm push us more and more and more as we go. We go live Monday through Friday, every day at noon, for about 10 minutes talking about current events that are happening in the world. As the channel grows, we might go longer, but right now, 10 minutes is good enough. And we're always looking for feedback. If you didn't like what you saw and you got some suggestions, leave it in the comments. If you give us a thumbs down, that's cool. Just let me know why so we can fix it and we can adjust it and we can keep going. So anyways, everybody, off to the next one. Enjoy your Thursday and we'll see you tomorrow.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.